Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for December 13, 2023. And in the news this evening, JP robbed of firearm and cash after stopping to urinate in St. Anne. A gunman held up and robbed a justice of the peace of his licensed firearm and $40,000 cash along the Bull Point Main Road in Oteria, St. Anne on Tuesday. The 74-year-old Justice of the Peace was robbed while relieving himself along the roadway, the news understands. Information reaching the news indicated that around 11 a.m., the JP, who is also a businessman, was in the process of relieving himself in the bushes near the road when a man called out to him by his name. It is understood that the man asked him about signing some pictures for him and walked closer to the JP. The man then pulled a firearm and demanded that the JP put up his hands. The gunman then pulled the JP's firearm with 17 rounds from his waistband, searched him and took $40,000 from his pocket. He then escaped in a vehicle waiting nearby. The police have since launched a manhunt for the gunman. Man gunned down in broad daylight in St. Anne. A man was shot dead in Content Gardens, Oteria, St. Anne on Wednesday morning. He has been identified as Benjamin Graham, otherwise called Pepe, of the area. Reports are that at about 10:10 a.m., residents heard gunshots and summoned the police. Upon the arrival of the lawmen, Graham was seen lying on the floor of a one-bedroom dwelling, suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Residents of Content Gardens have expressed concern following Graham's death. Right now, the whole community is tense. The killing is getting too bad in St. Anne. Matter of fact, the whole of Jamaica. Look how many parishes have SOE and the killers are still on a spree. This doesn't look good. This looks like a bloody Christmas, a resident who identified as a Joe said. Another resident said she heard the shots while doing chores. I was washing some place when I heard the shots and wondered if it was clappers because Christmas time I come around. About an hour later, somebody called me and said if me hear about the shooting. Broad daylight, me couldn't believe it, she said. According to the constabulary, as at December 2, St. Anne has recorded 75 murders, 12 more than the corresponding period last year. Alleged lottery scammers arrested in St. James facing extradition. 2 men were arrested in St. James on Wednesday and are facing extradition to the United States on criminal charges relating to lottery scamming. Both men were arrested at their respective homes in Paradise Heights and Montego Bay West Village during separate pre-dawn operations led by the Lottery Scam Task Force, members of the Jamaica Fugitive Apprehension Team, and the Army, according to multiple sources. Their names are being withheld. They were arrested on extradition warrants from U.S. authorities, accusing them of money laundering, mail fraud, wire fraud, and other offenses related to lottery scamming, law enforcement sources told the news. Portland teen recaptured after jumping through court window to avoid custody. There is a renewed call for the shortage of police personnel to man the children's court in Buff Bay, Portland, to be addressed after a teen boy escaped the court by jumping through an upstairs window after an order was made for him to be remanded. The incident happened on Monday. A policewoman who was the only cop in court made attempts to prevent him from escaping, but was unsuccessful. It has been reported that for quite some time now, there has been a shortage of police personnel in the courts in Portland. On many occasions, calls have to be made to the relevant authority for police personnel to be sent so that a court can commence. There is no child counselor assigned to the Children's Court in St. Mary, which has resulted in the Child Counsel for Portland being forced to monitor both courts. On Monday, the 16-year-old accused, who is charged with housebreaking and larceny, appeared in court. The allegations are that the accused was caught on camera breaking into a house. In another incident, he fought with the complainant inside our house, and it is alleged that about $500,000 was stolen from the dwelling. Children's Court Judge Shahai Whittingham Maxwell ordered that the accused be remanded until January 8 next year for psychological assessment. The judge also ordered that community and school reports be submitted in court. The accused teen boy, on hearing he was being remanded, jumped through a 2-story window down onto the compound and ran away. The boy's parents and his attorney at law were in court when he dashed for his freedom. He is lucky he was not hurt after jumping from such a height, a spectator remarked. The boy was recaptured and taken back into custody the following day. A senior policeman, in commenting on the issue, said today that the police are overburdened with work because the high crime rate has resulted at times in a shortage of police to work in other important areas. He noted that many children are involved in serious crimes and there is an urgent need for steps to be taken to ensure that child counselors are provided in every parish. He says he is hoping that through counseling, children will be motivated to be upstanding citizens and stay away from criminal activities. There must be a serious focus on children, and particularly those before the courts who need psychological support. Where there is no such support, the children deteriorate because parents are not equipped to deal with psychological problems plaguing their children, he emphasized. In the Jamaica Gray trial, accused killer's ex-girlfriend saved his name as a crosses to in her phone. A digital forensic officer from the police force on Tuesday read aloud phone messages between accused killer Gregory Roberts and his ex-girlfriend, who had saved Roberts' number in her phone under the name Crosses 2. Crosses is one version of the Jamaican dialect for the word crosses, which indicates problems. From the witness stand, Detective Inspector Kamar Smith testified that in addition to recovering information from Roberts' white Samsung Galaxy phone, he also accessed Roberts' ex-girlfriend's black and white Samsung Galaxy with a digital SIM card. Smith, who is assigned to the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, said he was able to complete a successful digital forensic extraction on the phone. After outlining how he ascertained through the user account name and the profile photo that the phone belonged to Roberts' ex-girlfriend, Smith testified that there were messages on the device that correlated to messages sent from Roberts' phone. On Monday, the first day he took the stand, Smith had read aloud from text allegedly retrieved from the accused killer's phone that painted a picture of Roberts' attempt to scare his ex-girlfriend and her mother into repaying money he said his ex-lover had fleeced him. On Tuesday, Smith continued by reading aloud some of the text that were allegedly sent and received from Roberts' ex-girlfriend's Samsung Galaxy phone on January 29 and 30, 2017. Message from Roberts at 2:25 p.m. on January 29. You would never believe I would ever do something like this. Message from Roberts at 3:26 p.m. on January 29. Someone going tomorrow, name of ex-girlfriend. Message from Roberts at 8:22 p.m. on January 29. I'm going to let you know me now. I am going to video myself. Message from Roberts at 10:15 a.m. on January 29. You will hear what happened, but just to make sure I get. Message from Roberts at 6:53 a.m. on January 30. Now you took my money under false pretense, now block. Message from Roberts at 7:53 a.m. on January 30. Call me right now, not because your mother is bringing back. Message from Roberts at 7:54 a.m. on January 30. Your expletive life I tried to save. Are you deaf? Call me KMFT. Message from Roberts' ex-girlfriend at 7:57 a.m. on January 30. Yes. Message from Roberts' ex-girlfriend at 8 a.m. on January 30. Don't you see me calling you? Message from Roberts at 8:01 a.m. on January 30. Unblock the expletive number quick. Message from ex-girlfriend at 10:02 a.m. on January 30. Soon wait. Message from Roberts at 10:02 a.m. on January 30. KMFT. Message from ex-girlfriend at 10:03 a.m. on January 30. Either unblock now. Message from Roberts at 10:04 a.m. on January 30. Just wait a little bit. KMT. Message from Roberts at 10:05 a.m. on January 30. I'm trying to stop them. Other details emerged during the officer's testimony about a gold-colored blue phone he received and on which he performed a full forensic extraction. According to Inspector Smith, the evidence indicated that the phone was under the control of convicted co-defendant Mario Morrison. Were you able to form an opinion regarding the gold-colored blue phone? Prosecutor Morgan asked. Yes, that this cell phone was the property of Jamaica Gray, the officer said. Morrison, in his examination in chief earlier in the trial, spoke of receiving Gray's phone from Roberts the day after her death placing his SIM card in it and making 2 calls. On Tuesday, the Crown indicated that it wishes to clarify a few areas regarding the gold-colored blue phone. These will be addressed during the next sitting of the trial on Thursday. The trial, which began on November 23, has so far heard from 14 of the 18 witnesses. 11 witnesses gave sworn evidence, and the 2 other statements were read into evidence. Gray's body was discovered in bushes in Irwin, St. James on February 1, 2017, with multiple stab wounds. Roberts and Morrison were subsequently arrested and charged with the schoolgirl's murder. Morrison pleaded guilty to her murder and was sentenced to life in prison.